live from New York with your host, Felix, and co-host, Dr. Mark. So let's have a cup of coffee and enjoy the show.
There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here live. Welcome to our show. My name is Felix, and my co-host is
Dr. Mark, who almost missed his entry.
Well, he didn't. No, he made a grand entrance.
Well, I mean, I missed my girlfriend who tells us the countdown, and I missed the lady who introduces us.
But I'm sure we heard you coming in.
But I came in time for my guy here. There is no heaven. There is no hell. Yes.
I just want to tell you this show is live, and you can call us at 646-595-3275. We'd love to hear from anybody that might be listening.
And don't forget to tell them about our blog, our chat room.
Yes, our chat room is open. Yes, it is. And you can also email us at, we'll make it easy, info@ccradionetwork.com.
For those people who don't want to hear themselves on the radio or might be a little shy,
or just want to drop us a note, and don't want to bother with the chat room, you can do that.
I have a bit of advice for them. The more you tend to talk, the easier it becomes. Why would I say that, Felix?
Well, you're like the babbling fool.
I am a babbling fool.
When Mark first came on the show, he said, I'm only going to listen and watch.
I'll support you.
He'll support you, but he will not take a microphone. Now if I try to take away a microphone, he's stabbing me with a fork or any other sharp object that he has near him.
That's right. That's why on this desk we have nothing. No writing implements, no utensils. Although I could give him a nice kick on the shins.
Yeah.
What's our topic tonight?
Our topic tonight is Bye David Letterman. And hello.
Whomever.
That's it.
I did some homework, as I generally do on Facebook. Where does anybody find anything out but on Facebook or Google? And if it's on Facebook and the internet, it must be true, right?
Absolutely. Ask the Reverend Felix.
That's true. Our esoteric minister. But in any event, by the way, speaking of esoteric ministers, did I tell our audience that a couple of weeks ago I was watching a show, actually last Monday, I was watching a show, so this was after we did the show, and one of the characters was renewing her wedding vows, and the person performing the ceremony was quoted as saying, thanks to the internet and the what's that order of the
ULC?
Yes, the Universal
Life
Church. He had the authority to marry them. So I just want anybody to know that if you are thinking of getting married, or God forbid, if there is a death in your family, Felix can officiate.
Yes, but not as a ULC. I am not an internet intern. I am part of the esoteric, which is you have to qualify for. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the qualifications are, but they are much higher than what the ULC is.
And Felix is willing to work cheap. If you pay for his flight or for his transportation, and if you feed him, he will come.
And my lodging.
Of course.
And I restrict my work areas to the Bahamas, Caribbean, Hawaii, and Fiji Islands. That's the only places that I do work.
Do you work there in the summer when it's so hot?
I just told you where I work.
Oh, okay.
I don't work in. I don't do.
Not in the Cayman Islands where you could bury all this money.
Well, Cayman Islands is okay. I said Caribbean.
Okay. They're all. Yeah, exactly.
I worked the Caribbean circuit. Hawaii. I'll do Puerto Rico.
Caribbean, you mean St. Martin, St. Thomas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And if you throw in a bottle of rum, he'll be even happier,
weddings.
right?
Excuse me?
If they throw in a bottle of rum, you'll be even happier.
Absolutely. Destination weddings, that's what I specialize in.
Anyway, let me get back here, folks. I'm digressing as I always do. Who should replace David Letterman? Well, in New York, CBS, they asked that question, and these are some of the comments that they got. People mentioned Conan O'Brien. Now, the blurb on Conan is that he was actually Letterman's replacement on NBC back in '93. But after Letterman moved over to CBS, he found himself behind the 8 ball, and he was out of a job, and he was so upset, and understandably so, that he went to TBS. And I think that he's pretty much of a lock on the show on TBS. It's a good fit. I don't think he's really going anywhere. That's when I say that's what the internet says. Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. Well, in 2015, by the time Letterman retires, it says Jon Stewart will have hosted The Daily Show, believe it or not, for 16 years. And Colbert would have hosted his show and been on The Daily Show for a combination of 10 years. It seems likely that one of them would be looking for a change. Reportedly, CBS is eyeing Colbert, but it'll be kind of strange for him. After all this time of being in character as a conservative, a neoconservative, he would actually have to change and be his liberal self if he moves to late night. And plus the fact that he has such a following, we don't know if he'd want to give that up, even for CBS.
Okay, listen, I've got my first call of the night.
They're interrupting me.
From area code 501.
Oh, that is Carol. Carol from Arkansas.
Hi. Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Okay.
Good.
Thank you for calling.
I'm going to make this. No problem. I'm going to make your show very short. The only person who can replace, what's his name,
David
is
Letterman.
Ferguson. Craig Ferguson.
Carol,
who does the Late Show.
It's funny you should say that because they had you vote for who you want, and Craig Ferguson came out on top with 15% of the votes that were cast.
You like him?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I love him. He's hysterical. He has a weird sense of humor. You got to get used to it, but he's really good.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And he's very weird, and I enjoy him. But I don't know if it's going down an hour and a half earlier.
Well, but it seems to be the format that they're following. Jimmy Fallon came down to work the Tonight Show, so it would seem likely that Ferguson might be the one that's tapped. They had a whole bunch of names here, Carol. They had Howard Stern, who's not going to give up what he has.
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell.
He makes millions and millions.
I know.
He doesn't need the money. And Rosie O'Donnell is too abrasive. She offends too many people.
And that's the same thing with Louis C.K., because they have him down here. But then they have Jerry Seinfeld. But I think
I thought of that too, but...
Yeah, he just started doing his stand-up again, and I think he's very satisfied and happy with that, because he could get to pick when he wants to work.
Exactly.
But then they...
I thought... what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go.
No. I forgot the name of the guy. He's too old. He probably wouldn't take it. He was Leno's last guest. Darn it. He's a big comedian, but he's too old. He probably wouldn't take it.
Oh, Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
Billy, you're right. Billy Crystal is another one who would be great, but he likes doing what he does, which is he'll appear in Vegas sometimes. He still has family in Long Beach, okay? So I don't think he would, and he's a grandfather, so I don't think...
yeah, he's too old, yeah.
Well, it's not too old. I don't think he would really want to put in the time working
that's because
every
he's
day.
too old to be doing this. It's not worth it for him anymore.
But they did mention, as I said, Colbert and Stewart. Chelsea Handler was mentioned, but I think she's got a good thing. Why? I don't know.
I don't know. She's
one of the things they say about her. Oh, because they do have a blurb on her. For Chelsea, it says, "It seems like it's about time that we get a woman hosting one of the 3 late-night shows. The only thing I'll say about that is Joan Rivers had a chance way back when, and she was passed over. Talk about being abrasive and rude and, uncouth. But she never forget.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles. He also is too old, but he would be perfect. I mean, and Johnny Carson used to have him all the time. Chelsea Handler has her show on E, and she seems very happy with it. However, the show just ended. She's out of contract right now.
She's stooping the owner of the show. That's why.
Okay, but it says here she's definitely... I hear you. They mentioned Neil Patrick...
No, okay.
They mentioned Neil Patrick Harris because his show just ended, but I don't think he would go in for that. He likes to do Broadway, and he's a good song and dance person, and I don't think he would like sitting behind a desk. So I don't think that's really...
he's got a long way to go. He's still fresh.
Yeah, he's still young also, very young. So I think you might be right because the consensus is that it would be... a good choice to go with Ferguson.
Also, I think if Conan was available, he'd make him be a good choice.
No, Conan likes TV.
I said if he was available.
Well, he might be available. I mean,
no, I don't like Conan.
And I never cared for him either. I really didn't. I don't think he's that funny.
When I'm really bored, I'll put him on because there's nothing else on. I'll watch Conan, but he's so stupid.
And what does that say for his show, really? When you think about it.
George Lopez. He hosts.
No, he failed his own, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's very true. He had a chance on his own, and the show didn't make it. And then, unfortunately, after he got divorced, now get this, his ex-wife gave him a liver so he could live.
I thought it was a kid.
I think it was his liver. I think he was a drinker.
Oh, okay.
Okay? But the bottom line is she gave him a kidney, and then a few years later he divorced her. I think she wants her kidney back.
I sure hope she took him to the laundry.
Well, I'm sure she did. Hey, listen, Carol, no offense. I know you're a wife, but what woman doesn't look to take her former husband to the laundry?
I didn't.
Well,
I wanted to get rid of the SOB.
Well,
I was telling Felix the other week, back when a friend of mine was getting divorced, I went looking for a card, and it said divorce, and then you open it up, and it says you used to be able to shoot the bastard, but now, they just look to clean him out. At least the ones that I've seen.
Well, it depends on what happened. I mean, what goes on.
That's true.
Well,
in one case, it was the wife who had the affair.
I'm going to go now. Mark.
Okay.
You're going to go now?
Well, thank you
for calling.
It sounds like somebody's dragging you away.
Oh, no. No, I'm fine.
Carol, you do that so well.
I'm only kidding.
You should call up all the time. You're
just
better than some of the people on late night.
Maybe I should go on late night.
I think you'd have my vote.
I could do Letterman.
Well, you got to be careful. That doesn't sound too good. Think of what you said.
Now, what could he do at 67?
Oh,
I don't know.
there's
60 had a
Viagra,
kid.
Cialis. I mean, I don't know.
Well, when did he have that kid? 60?
He had the kid at 60. His son, no, his son is 10.
Is it? No,
Yeah.
Son
So,
is 10 years old.
So 57.
well, all I know is, speaking from experience, my equipment doesn't work anymore. So what could I tell you? Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'll keep listening to the show, and I'll call again. What's
Thanks
your next
again,
topic
Carol.
for Friday?
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was really nice of Carol from Arkansas, Little Rock.
You know, the other thing...
She
there's
promised me. She said she was going to give a call, and she did.
There's a flip side to all this also.
What do you mean?
Which we're not talking about. They're also trying to decide if they're going to keep the show in New York or bring it to Los Angeles.
And then there's always Vegas. It depends who they hire, I guess. Ferguson is where? Is he in New York?
I'm not sure.
But you see, Jimmy Fallon,
Is
his
it New
late
York?
night was in New York, and Leno was in California, but he brought the Tonight Show back to New York, where it
yeah.
started from.
The senators from California are all lobbying to bring it.
Well, I'm sure Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein, who are the two senators from California, are not happy about that.
You know, as I said, they're lobbying for CBS to bring it back, and then of course some New York people are lobbying for
Well,
the
I
show
guess
to stay here.
the question would be, would NBC be happy moving to L.A.?
Why would they?
Well, I say, would they, if they bring somebody, when they bring somebody in to replace Dave? Dave Letterman is from New
That's
York.
CBS you're talking about.
No, CBS is already in New York.
Yeah, I know, but they're talking about flipping them possibly.
When you say flip, I know. The point is, Jimmy Fallon's not going anywhere. He's got a young kid and a wife, and his roots are here. He's not going to California. You know, as far as Ferguson goes, I don't know if he's married. Okay? I know that Stephen Colbert, if they drag him to California, you know, his roots are in South Carolina. He lives in Manhattan. Okay? I don't think he's willing to give up what he has. You know.
You don't know, but
And Jon Stewart certainly wouldn't, because he's from New Jersey, but he has an apartment and his family living in New York. Okay, so he wouldn't.
you know, you never know what people will do. Yeah, we can't. We can't.
You know, something I learned from my daughters, okay? It's not always the money. It's what's going to make you happy. And if moving means you make your spouse and family unhappy, eventually you become unhappy.
Well, listen,
and
with
it
your
doesn't
family,
seem
they're
to
traveling.
work.
They're doing a lot of traveling. Are they happy with all the traveling they're doing?
Who does all the traveling? Who?
Your daughter went to Ohio. She was first in.
That's not what I meant. What I meant was I was talking about money-wise. You know, we wanted her to come back to New York, make the most money. She didn't want to work in New York. She's a New Yorker, but she has more of an affinity for Boston because she lived in Massachusetts and she went to school there for a while. Okay, so she likes to say Boston's strong, although she's a big Yankee fan.
So why did she move to Ohio?
Because her husband was transferred to Ohio. You know, if you're looking at the list here, all right, the only single person I could think of, I think Chris Rock is still single, but he would want to go to Vegas probably, maybe, or keep it in New York. Chelsea Handler, like I said, she's single. And Ferguson, I believe, is single. I don't think he's married.
I don't know. I thought he was, but
I don't know.
If anybody knows if Craig Ferguson is married, let us know. We'd like to hear from you.
You could always Google it.
Yeah.
You know, it'll tell you if he's married or not.
That's true.
I mean, then, you know, take somebody like the program on CBS on Sunday, The Mentalist, with Simon Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Simon Baker is from Australia.
Right.
Okay? But his wife lives in Australia. He films, 4 months out of the year, whatever it is, he's filming in Hollywood. and then he goes home to Australia to his family, with an occasional movie here or there. So, it depends how old the kids are and the families, they may not want to move.
Yeah, I saw Simon Baker in an old zombie movie. I guess that's before he became a little more famous. It was made in 1996, I think, or 2005.
Wow.
I don't remember. Either way, it was...
But folks, let's give us the number again. Let's give you the number again. It is 646-595-3275.
And also, once again, the chat room is open, or you can email us at info@ccradionetwork.com.
I was telling Felix I found another article just before I came over here to work, all on Stephen Colbert. It says, yes, Stephen Colbert would be great as the host of CBS's Late Night. This is 2 long pages here, so maybe I'll just jump around. However, a late-night TV host announces his retirement. There's an inevitability and a speculation about who will be crowned as the next king of the 11:30 time slot. This, in turn, has created tremendous interest in a response from the writer. And I don't know who it is, but he says me, but he doesn't give his name. And there's no author's name listed. Well, nobody asked, he said, but it seems appropriate for me to weigh in on one of the few issues I can actually be considered confident and an expert at. I know Stephen Colbert, the author writes, and I've known most of his staff because I was part of it for a number of years. For more than 6 years and over 1,000 episodes, I entertained the live studio audience on the Colbert Report. Every night I went out in front of the most devout members of the Colbert Nation and entertained them with a mix of stand-up and improv. It was the best job in comedy that I've ever had. Now, with sources reporting that CBS is eyeing Colbert to replace David Letterman, speculation is in overdrive about whether or not Colbert would take the job and whether he could slip the skin, so to speak, of the character that he's been playing so successfully on Comedy Central. Here's what matters in evaluating the prospects. Is Colbert first interested in late night? Well, why wouldn't he be? Even if he isn't, he's too smart to let on. Contract negotiations are far from lucrative. So I don't expect him to indicate which way he's leaning right now. Would it work? Well, that, of course, is the most important question that everybody would be asking at this time. Colbert is perhaps the greatest comedian. Well, this is the writer's interpretation. He thinks that Colbert is the greatest comedian of our generation of comics, meaning the young people. He can do it all: improv, sketch, stand-up. He can dance, he can act, and he can conduct hilarious interviews. And that much is true. What viewers don't see what viewers don't see is how integral Colbert is in the writing process. Only the writing staff knows whose contributions end up making the show. But you can be sure Colbert has the last say. Okay, it's got his name on it. The most impressive feat I ever saw him pull off in my 6 years, it says here on the report, was when he did the show with no writers at all during the writer's strike from 2007 and 8. He and his executive producer and former head writer, Allison Silverman, wrote the show themselves. And in case that doesn't seem impossible enough, union rules didn't allow scripts to be loaded into the teleprompter. So he wrote the show, and then somehow he remembered it in memory. I'll never forget standing backstage and watching him pull this off in a flawless program. Well, I'm going to stop here. There's more, but I'll get back to it later because I'm getting tired of reading. I have to give my voice a rest, and I want Felix to earn his pay.
Well, I was wondering now, I mean, you're talking about Steve, and, and it seems like a lot of his show is scripted. While I don't think, except for maybe the, I guess, the monologue, I don't think much of the Letterman show is scripted.
Well, no, because once they sit down, everything is, they have an idea of what they want to do, but by the same token, don't forget, I mean, Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert, when they come out, they have a script in front of them. And if you look closely, you could see that there's type on there. So, I mean, they're reading from a script. Whether they're reading or they've memorized it and they just glance down occasionally to see, catch a keyword here or there, the rest is what they tend to put together. But I don't think cue cards are used the way they are in by Letterman or Leno.
Yeah, what I'm saying,
I don't even know about Jimmy Kimmel.
What I'm saying, these guys are a lot more ad-lib, I think, on Letterman and Kimmel. There's no way they could script everything they're doing because they have guests and stuff.
Well, no, that part is not scripted.
I said they can't script it.
Yeah, but you're talking about the monologues.
Just a monologue, but Kimmel, Steve has most of his shows is scripted, isn't it? It's almost all written. It's a script.
I think when Colbert is talking to his audience, he has script down there. But when he calls a guest up before the interview, he only has some questions and some notes. You can't possibly script an interview because you don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
So what he does is he may write down and jot down a couple of questions, and then he'll pick up on the questions and veer off one way or the other depending upon what the guest is saying.
Right.
And he always manages to turn it into a joke, and he gets everybody to laugh. You have to love it when he says he's next to the Pope. He's the world's most famous Catholic. Okay, because he prides himself on being a Catholic, okay, and he prides himself on saying nobody loves the country better than I do, all right? So, I mean, these are things that he's known for.
But that's
wrapping the flag around himself.
Well, that's his flag. That's his character, being conservative, isn't it?
That's what I said.
Yeah, but he's not that way, so I don't know. I just don't know.
Look, any one of the people that were mentioned would probably be good. It's a matter of, who wants to tie themselves down to 5 days a week. I think they tape it around 6 or 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, they tape it during the daylight because David Letterman was always there when it's daylight. So I don't think it's 6, 7. I think it's earlier.
Well, at summertime and now 6 o'clock, it's light.
Yeah, no, but in the winter it's not. And he's always when it's daylight. I'm thinking he's doing it more like 2 o'clock in the afternoon because he also has a live audience there. Mm-hmm. And it'd be hard to get a live audience. I think at 5 or 6 in the afternoon. It'd be much harder.
Well, either way. But we really would like to hear from you. It was great of Carol to call up from Little Rock, and I know she had things to do, and she sounded so funny, I'd like to submit her name.
Why would somebody move to Little Rock, Arkansas?
Her husband lived there.
Oh.
Second husband.
Why would you marry somebody from Little Rock?
Well, I mean, Hillary Clinton married somebody from Little Rock.
And where was she from originally? I don't even know.
She wasn't from Little Rock.
Where was she from?
I don't recall.
Mm-hmm. She was from Big Rock.
and Clinton was from Hope, Arkansas. Because I remember Jesse Jackson, in one of his speeches in '92, his big thing was "Let's keep hope alive." That was, the theme for Clinton's first run. And back in '96, it was this song, "Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow," blah blah blah. Sort of like Roosevelt's. About the. How can I forget?
I don't know. How can you forget? Is it something to do with you get
It's a
old?
good something or other. I don't know.
What? I don't know.
It's terrible. This brain injury is really bad because I can't remember little things like that.
I don't know what
it's
you're
a
looking
long-term
for.
memory. No, Roosevelt's theme song. Roosevelt, If anybody remembers Roosevelt's theme song, please call up and let me know.
Good ship lollipop.
Well, you could get out of here. You could Google it, and tell me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm afraid of...
Make yourself useful.
No, I'm just afraid of doing any kind of manipulation with the equipment because we are working off the internet. So I don't want to be losing anything and having any problems. What do you want to know now?
FDR's theme song.
FDR's theme song.
Happy days are here again. Yes. Okay. Happy. That's what you say every time we start a show, right? Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. Well, nobody's offering us any radio recording contract anytime soon.
No, I don't think so.
So I guess we're stuck doing this this radio show.
Yeah, we're lucky where people let us do it, and they only.
Well, they have no choice.
Exactly.
It's a matter of do they want to tune in, and I don't know about that.
Well, that's how people vote. They vote by tuning in and saying if they enjoy something. If they enjoy it, they'll listen to it, and if they don't enjoy it, then they turn it off.
That's true.
I want to just say hello to Bob B. I won't mention his last name, from Texas. Thank you for supporting us. He the other day started following us through Facebook. We're still called Trucking to Heaven, but he is supporting the show that way. So hello, Bob, and thank you. And if you feel like calling up and talking a little bit about trucking or what your new business you're into now, you're welcome to give us a call. 646-595-3275. And today we're again going to cut off the show after an hour. I think
it seems like we're going that way.
Going that way, and
yeah.
This show's not made to be more than an hour unless we start having actual scripts and a lot more callers.
I think our days of my days of saying that I think we should cut it and then somebody calls are long over. So I guess that won't be happening anytime soon.
Again, since we've changed our, actually, I guess how should I put it, our format a little bit, and gone on to Blog Talk Radio and with Spreaker, our format is less of a, well, it's always live, but less of call-ins because, as we've said hundreds of times before, majority of the audiences who listen to a pod listen to it at their leisure, not at what we wanted.
Does that have anything to do with the pod people in those old movies from the 60s and 50s?
Yeah. Well, those are the little...
Maybe I'm not really me and you're not really you.
Yeah.
Maybe you were just born this morning out of a pea pod.
Of a pod, yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
So how is it I've been broadcasting now for more than a day? If I was just born this morning.
Well, because now you're showing absolutely no emotion at all. It's like you're emotionless.
Uh-huh.
You
are correct.
You don't smile. You
caught on, Mr.
Yes, you see?
Dr. Mark.
And maybe I should run out in traffic like, who is it, Kevin McCarthy does at the end of the original when he says, "They're coming for you."
They're coming for you. They're coming for me. They're coming for everybody.
Or in Dawn of the Dead when Barbara's brother looks at her and says, "They're coming for you, Barbara." You know, the zombies. But anyway, getting back...
I wonder, why... Forget about it. I want to talk this. Why have zombies become so famous over the years? I mean, what is a zombie? He's somebody that comes back from life, from death. I mean, he dies and then he comes back.
Yeah, they eat your flesh and then you become a zombie, and the only way to kill him is to shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Because it's nice and bloody. People like that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the one that was with... What's that guy's name again from The Mentalist? Simon?
Yeah, Baker.
Simon Baker?
Simon Baker.
That movie, I told you, I saw a movie with him. I think it was again from 19...
it had to be long ago.
2005, I think. I guess before The Mentalist started. In this one, the zombies were getting smarter. And they actually got a leader who learned how to use a gun.
Learned how to use a gun, huh?
Yeah, he caught on to things, He wasn't like your normal everyday zombie, I guess.
Is there such a thing?
A zombie?
As a normal everyday zombie.
Well, most movies portray him as a zombie, a guy walking around made up of body parts, not too sturdy. Parts of his limbs may fall off at times. As the commercial on TV where the guy's saying, "Yes, I'm a zombie." What was that? That was...
I don't know. Jonathan would know. My son Jonathan would know.
Yeah, that was a commercial. I forget. It's a funny commercial. And... but anyway, so it was maybe a bank. Oh, it was for a bank asking if, he'll get something for life for as long as, he's alive. Which is sort of a paradox because he's not alive. Anyways, a zombie. I don't think. Is that correct? Zombies are dead, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but they come back to life. Yeah, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah. Okay, so if anybody likes zombie movies, give us a call. 646-595-3275. And Mark is laying back now like he's ready to go to sleep.
No, I'm going to finish reading. I'll read a little bit more from that article on Stephen Colbert. And then after that, it might put me to sleep if somebody doesn't call. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well,
I'm all talked out here.
Okay, I want to see something else.
While you're doing that, I'm going to just read a little further here.
Go ahead.
It says here that Colbert is used to taking huge risks. He's as fearless as any entertainer of our time, and that is where he gets the most respect from the comedy community. The greatest measure of his talent, however, is how well he's been able to play Stephen Colbert of the Colbert Report. One can and should argue that playing a character like that, it is very difficult. Even in a 5-minute sketch, his ability to sustain his character for the full 30 minutes or however long he's in front of the camera is truly amazing. Colbert has done this by constantly surprising his fans and his audience. He has reinvented the character so often that he's never become stale or predictable. He's taken his Colbert Nation on a journey that brought us to the Iraq War. Yes, he did travel to Iraq. the Vancouver Olympics, yes, and he did donate to the speed skating team. Okay. And he was on the deck of the Intrepid aircraft carrier, just to name a few things. He's performed with legendary musicians like Tony Bennett, Barry Manilow, Michael Stipe, and Brian Eno. He does play guitar, he does sing, and that makes him very versatile, because sometimes he will cut his interview short, and if he has a group on, he will interview them first, and then the last 5 minutes of the show, they will play something from their CD. Some of Colbert's best work has actually taken place on other stages and other networks when he's a guest star. Every night before the show, he does a Q&A with the audience. For many years, the most frequently asked question was about the 2006 White House Correspondents' Dinner, where he infamously entertained the President of the United States. They usually wanted to know what Bush said to him afterward. Well, if you want to know the answer, you can go to the taping of the rapport and you could ask him. Also, his amazing speech in 2012 in front of fellow Catholic Cardinal Dolan received a beautiful ribbing. Colbert and Jon Stewart even took us, remember, to the mall at Washington in that rally to restore sanity. Colbert has deftly hosted benefits and other shows and given hilarious and poignant commencement speeches. He's won almost every award possible, including Emmys, Peabodys, just to name a few, and some even as a writer on The Daily Show. But the question still arises, can Colbert drop his character and still be successful? Of course he can. Hosting the rapport has always been far more difficult than any late-night style talk show could possibly be. But can he be himself and be a success? Inside his slick suits, Colbert possesses every weapon and trick a comedian can utilize. As long as it's the same guy in the same suit, Colbert will more than hold his own for CBS. They talk about him having an edge. His comedic integrity has never been questioned. But the one question that remains is, would he win the ratings for the 11:30 time slot? And I'll come back to that toward the end of our show. Felix?
Okay, I just want to looking at some things that happened on this day.
Why?
Why not? And in 1926, on this day, Mussolini's Irish wife broke his nose. That's one of the big highlights of 1926.
Well, supposedly, they say Irish people have a temper, especially if they have a few drinks in them, but that's stereotyping, and I wouldn't want to go there.
Seals
Certainly.
in 1931, Seals Stadium opens in San Francisco.
Well, why don't you tell people the Seals, that the San Francisco Seals are the minor league franchise.
I don't know
That's
who
the
they are.
team that the DiMaggio brothers played for.
1933, the first and second Nazi anti-Jewish laws bars Jews from legal and public service. 1933, Prohibition ends. Utah becomes the 38th state to ratify the 21st Amendment. Let's see.
You got to pick the good stuff here.
I'm trying to... 1939, Italy invades Albania. 1940, first black to appear on U.S. stamp, Booker T. Washington. Let's go up a little bit. 1945. U.S. B-17 bombs range at Lunenburg. Series 1946, Syria independence from France is officially recognized.
Oh, I see 1949, South Pacific opened at the Majestic Theater in New York City. Yeah. Some enchanted evening, you will see a stranger. You may see a stranger across a crowded room.
1948, Health Organization forms by UN. And here's some more important stuff. 1951, American Bowling Congress begins first Masters tournament. 1951 is an important day. U.S. performs atmospheric nuclear test in Anahuac.
1951, my sister was born. That's a very important year.
1953, first west to east jet transatlantic nonstop flight. Well, we're talking about just today's date. Was she born today? Or?
No.
Oh, we're talking about today's date.
I'm talking about 1951.
No, I'm just talking about today.
So what? Who cares?
Today's date is 4/14, right? Did I pick up the wrong date?
4/14? Where did you get that?
No,
today's the 7th.
4/7, I did.
Oh, okay.
That's a funny looking picture of Hitler. What happened?
That's a very young Hitler.
Yeah, what happened to? What's that extra thing growing out of his nose?
With that white thing there?
No, over here.
I think he sneezed and he forgot to wipe his nose. That's what it looks like. Or as Nostradamus would say, Hister. Not Hitler, Hister.
In 1956, 10th NBA championship. The Philadelphia Warriors beat Fort Lauderdale Pistons 4-1, 4 games to 1. 1957, 21st Golf Masters Championship.
Hey, why don't you get to things that are more modern?
Okay, this. The stuff. Yeah, but all this stuff is crazy. It's really not that important. They say
None of it is important.
Now.
You just decided to read it.
No, it just says for this date, so you figure they're going to pick stuff out that's sort of important.
Doctors ban this diet. What kind of diet?
That's a commercial. Just want to make sure nobody's calling and hanging up, you know. 2013, Sweden wins the 2013 World Men's Curling Championship, defeating Canada. That happened 2013 on this day. On 2013, 15 people, including 9 children, are killed by an airstrike on Aleppo
how can you pass
by
this?
Syrian Air Force.
How can you pass this up? 2003, U.S. troops capture Baghdad. Saddam Hussein's regime falls only 2 days later. We all remember those pictures of the American soldiers pulling down the Iraqis pulling down the statue of Saddam. You know, I mean, after all, and then Bush claimed mission accomplished, you know. Of course, the war went on for another 10 years, practically.
Tonight, in 1994, the New York Yankees beat Texas Rangers tonight, 18-6. First night game in 1994 at Cleveland's Jacobs Field, Indians 6, Seattle 2. And I think these are very boring.
You're groping for straws now. I'm about ready to say goodnight.
No, I'm just thinking this is going to be a very boring date.
Okay, let me just finish up here where it says, do you think he's going to win the rating game, which is, let's face it, that's what everybody hopes to do when they take over a new job. Will I be number one? And according to this person, he says, I bet he would, because he's developed a unique brand accompanied by loyalty reserved for fewer and fewer entertainers these days. His current fans will follow him anywhere he goes, and for an accessible variety format which will attract even new legions of followers. Colbert and his class of late-night hosts have collaborated and appeared on each other's shows many times. Some have suggested that Letterman needed Leno as competition to bring his A-game every night. Kimmel, Stewart, and Colbert all share a manager and a camaraderie respect for each other, which is interesting. I didn't know that they all have the same agents, the same managers, etc. So the one who's really racking up is the manager, because the more successful they get, the more money in his pocket. Colbert and Kimmel have collaborated for hilarious bits quite a few times, along with Conan O'Brien. And I think we could also throw in that Colbert had, many times done something with Jimmy Fallon, where he has called him a frenemy. Ben and Jerry's has made a Stephen Colbert ice cream and a Jimmy Fallon ice cream, okay, and they're always arguing as to which one is better. So, remains to be seen. There are many people out there. Let's just see where it goes.
Okay, I'm just going to run a few birthdays today. Today, Jackie Chan turned 60.
Okay.
Russell Crowe turned 50.
Stick to people we know.
James Garner, 86. Billie Holiday.
She's not celebrating birthdays anymore.
No. She was born in 1915 on this day and died in 1959.
Oh, the old sitar player Ravi Shankar would have been 92 had he lived.
Mm-hmm. Well, he died in 2012. He was 92 when he died.
No, it would have been 94. My bad.
Thank you. Francis Coppola is 75. Tiki Barber is 39.
Oh, we all remember him. He was the one that divorced his pregnant wife and married his pregnant girlfriend.
Brian Hanna, 56.
Who? Daryl Hannah, maybe.
No, Brian, a guitarist. Hayner. Brian Hayner.
Who the hell is he?
He's a guitarist. I
never heard of him.
How about Duncan James? He's a singer.
Baseball player Adrian Beltre is 35.
Bill Bellamy, an actor, is 49. Jennifer Schwanbach is another. Schwanbach Smith is an actress. She's 49.
Tony Dorsett, the old running back for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, 60 years old today.
Wayne Rogers, famous for MASH, 81.
And guess what? Guess who's also 39 today? Well, if Tiki Barber is 39, then his twin brother, you can't even tell them apart. They're identical. Rondé, who used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he played defense, while Tiki played offense, is also 39. Imagine that.
And
John Oates from Hall & Oates is 65.
And you've got Jerry Brown, the old liberal, progressive politician who ran for president. Didn't get too far, but he ran for president.
Well, but he's governor of California right now.
76.
Janis Ian, the singer from back in the 60s, is 63. William Wordsworth, one of my favorite writers, poets, was born in 1770 on this date. Walter Winchell, the guy who introduced Eliot Ness on The Untouchables, the old Untouchables, was born on this day.
Alexis Love. Everybody knows Alexis Love.
I don't know who she is.
I don't know who the hell she is.
So what'd you say it for?
because I said it for the hell of it, because I knew nobody knows Percy Faith. He was born
composer,
in 1908.
piano player.
Yeah, he passed away, but he was. A lot of people were born today.
Well, what do you think?
Clark Peters, I've seen him around the movies.
All right, enough of this. Guess what? We wasted another 6 minutes. We can now get ready to sign off.
See, this was famous people who were born in this state.
You forgot that you were born on this date.
Who, me?
I thought every time we have a show was your birthday.
Ed Spielers. He's an actor. I don't know who he is, but he's 26 today.
All right, enough of this.
All right, enough of famous or not so famous people who had their birthdays today.
Once again, I want to thank Carol for calling up. She did make our day. In fact, I'm telling you that I would nominate her to take over for Dave Letterman.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to add, however, I don't know if Carol's going to be listening to the show, but Carol is the grandmother of 2, and her daughter is getting ready to have her 3rd child by the end of this month. So she's going to become a grandmother for the 3rd time. So I figure we should throw that in. It'll certainly make her feel good, knowing that it came at the end of the show.
And also, my brother's daughter just got married this past Friday. So congratulations. And she's going to have a baby in October.
I don't know if I would have announced that. What if Adam decides to actually listen to the show?
Well, it's the truth. Nothing but the truth. So I guess we know why she got married.
You're stepping on my wires here. All right. Is she the one that got divorced?
Yeah.
Wasn't she pregnant before?
She was divorced. She had one kid before. Now she got remarried.
She was pregnant then.
Excuse me?
Right?
What?
She was pregnant then.
Probably.
All right. Nothing like consistency.
Yeah. Well, we can congratulate her and her husband. We wish them the best. A healthy baby.
Felix is throwing a dice to see how long this one's going to last.
No, don't say that. That's not nice, Mark. Your nasty side is coming out.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm tired.
My luck, this is the one show that my brother and his very nice, lovely wife will listen to it and get really pissed off at me and you.
No, you said Adam doesn't listen, so what's the difference?
Well, the other thing is that everybody's
Don't send it to him.
The other thing everybody's got to understand that we don't go by last names. Nobody knows who we are, so it really doesn't matter. Nobody from the family listens to it.
Your aunt does.
My aunt, she doesn't know his side. And she was only listening to me when I was a Unitarian minister. When I wasn't doing, when I.
Well, what's the difference whether you're an esoteric minister or what's the difference?
I have no idea. Well, what was I? I was thrown out of the Universal Life Church. What do they call that?
Weren't you also a rabbi?
I am a rabbi. But what is that expression when somebody gets thrown out?
You're defrocked.
Defrocked. I was defrocked. I was an independent.
Yes, you found an organization that'll accept anybody.
Yeah, and they defrocked me because they thought I wasn't really.
Well, I think we should let people know that Bill Clinton was ordained by the Universal Life Church.
Yes, he is, and Conan O'Brien was.
Speak of the devil. Pardon the pun.
What's that girl? The girl that's on days, a black. And Williams, what's her name? Cindy Williams, I think.
What about her?
She was also.
Cindy Williams is from Three's Company.
No. There's a host during the day. Wendy Williams, maybe.
Wendy Williams is on during the day.
Yeah, she was ordained a minister. with the Universal Life Church. There's a lot of people. There's over 20 million.
I'm just thinking. You've got Judaism. You've got former Christianity. The only thing you got to do now is find a mosque that will recognize you, and you can marry just about anybody.
Well, I can already. Being a interfaith minister.
No, I think.
And I have.
If somebody is looking for,
I have all the services written. If I want to marry somebody in a mosque, I may not have all the garb, but I have all the services written
I know that
down.
you keep all that reading literature in the bathroom. It stimulates you when you have to go.
I should. That's the only place I'll wind up reading it. Because I definitely don't read it where it's sitting right now somewhere.
And since we're talking about all this blasphemous material, I think we should put on our favorite, one more time. We close the show as we opened it.
There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
And on that note, Felix, another show down the toilet.
Well, Mark, I told you we'd be talking about politics and religion today. You said, how are you going to get religion?
Yeah, I know. How are we going to get it in? But I leave it to you. Leave it to you.
And I just want to tell you, I got started about religion today because, as I told you, I was defrocked from a fictitious Catholic church, and it's run by a shady character, to say the least, which I never told you this, he was thrown out of the Universal Life Church.
Then I don't understand how he can get another branch of that same church to recognize him. He started his own, didn't he?
Started his own, yeah. Hey, listen, I can start my own. There's a Universal Life Church. There's a Universal Life Church Monastery. There's a Universal Life Church.
There you go. Like I said, you're already recognized by the church and by the rabbinate, correct?
Yeah, by the rabbis.
Okay. Start your own mosque.
Esoterical.
Start your own mosque. Tell people to take their shoes off when they come in. Mm-hmm. Leave them outside. Make sure they're wearing their little hat. Give them all a yoga rug and tell them make believe it's a prayer rug, and they get down and they face Mecca.
Yeah. But I tell you, what I was thinking of doing is taking a Hasidic Jew, a few of them, putting him in right next to some Amish people, and see if anybody could tell them apart.
Yes, you know why? Because the Amish have a funny-looking beard. They don't have a mustache. They just have the beard, okay?
Some do, some don't. But you're right, a lot of them have that.
Well, no, when they marry, they grow a beard. When they're single, that's how you know they're single. Same thing with the women. They don't grow a beard.
But they do when they get married. Or do they shave it off when they're married? I'm not sure.
I don't know. But anyway, now that we've... you see, we've got our second wind now.
We seem to have put down every church except my favorite one, of course.
The esoteric church.
No, the deism.
Oh, you want to be a dude.
You want to be a dude? You could be a dude and you can marry people legally. Just like the Roman Catholic and the Roman Church. Or your...
You got to find a Judaist holy place or something. I don't know.
Under a tree with your shoes off. I mean,
what can I tell you?
I mean, and ladies and gentlemen, if you do look this up, the deism is recognized.
Let me ask you, how come you never went after that license as well? No time, huh? Too much studying with everything else.
They're so liberal that I think I could be just by saying I want to be one. But no, you do have to get ordained, and you do have to get because of the freedom of religion, but you do have to get something in writing that you were ordained by them. And I always forget the movie that it was based on, Lebowski or something, The Great Lebowski, what was it called?
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it that movie, The Great Lebowski, with Bridges?
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's their idol, Jeff Bridges. And I guess their song must be Mañana, Mañana, Mañana's good enough for
No,
me.
wasn't that the theme song of the Three Amigos?
Yeah, well, I think the Judaism could adopt that song because it's they believe
It's like Happy Days Are Here Again, right?
Huh?
Like Happy Days Are Here Again.
Yeah, the Judaism, they believe in the old Chinese cultures, the Zing Zang and Zang Zing, whatever else that is. I don't know.
Zang Zing?
I have no idea.
Yin Yang or something?
Yin
I don't know.
yeah. But they believe in that. They believe in life and believe, heaven and hell are on earth and all that. The humanists, they believe in humanism.
Oh, I came across something, by the way, today, searching the internet. Seems like a professor of biology was, she took grasshoppers and she ground up grasshoppers and put them in Toll House cookies. She somehow was in front of a culinary class. Don't ask me how this happened. And she made Toll House cookies, and they say that, 4 grasshoppers in a cookie is the equivalent of a glass of milk, an 8-ounce glass of milk. It's protein.
It's a lot of protein. They had a guy.
I showed it to my son, who's a graduate of Johnson and Wales, and he's was a chef. Now he's a policeman. Okay, we were talking about that. It's like eating chocolate-covered ants and stuff.
Well, no, they had. I don't know if you ever watched the Shark Tank.
No, I don't.
One of the shows that I enjoy watching. And they had somebody who not invented, but I don't know what you want to call it. He formulated a flour made of grasshopper, which is basically pure protein.
How do you get a flower to grow from a grasshopper?
No, they killed they cook the flour. They cook him. They grind him down into a flour.
Oh, you're talking about flour to cook.
Yeah.
When you say flour, I'm thinking of botany.
No. Because grasshoppers are very easy to.
Well, I'm sure that's what this woman did because she mixed it in with Toll House cookies.
Yeah, well,
so
they could have
must have been a flour.
No, they could have mixed in just pieces of it, and you can't tell the difference. You
can if you bite and you see a tentacle or something.
No. When they grind it down into a flour, it's high protein.
I know that.
And you can make breads from it. Oh, and you could, and they had.
You mean when we go to Panero Bread, we don't know what we're actually eating?
I'm sure, yeah. But let me finish my story, then you can talk about Panero Breads. Jesus Christ. No, not Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. But anyway, so he grinds it down, and he let all this, he made some kind of, with chocolate, whatever, with these very high protein, extremely high protein bars made from that, very healthy, but everybody was afraid to taste it. But not everybody.
It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, no, some of the sharks that tasted actually thought it was pretty good. And this company actually is doing
I heard it's kosher.
I don't know how they killed the grasshoppers.
There's no blood. There's no blood.
How do you know?
Grasshoppers just go squish when you step on them.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that maybe a little bit of what do they have a heart? If they have a heart, something pumps in the heart.
I don't know. Maybe they're like the scarecrow if they only had a brain.
Yeah, but anyway, so what happens now is that they actually, I think one of the sharks actually invested in this venture, but they were doing very well overseas in countries where people are not offended by eating
Well, you know why?
grasshoppers.
Because in those countries, they just pick up the grasshopper and eat it the way it is. So what's the difference if they eat it ground up or, while it's still kicking,
Yeah, no, grasshoppers are a form of protein for a lot of countries.
Dip it in honey? How bad could it be?
In some countries, it is the only protein that people have. It's very easy to grow, and they're very clean because
cockroaches.
They're very clean. They eat only their grass and leaves. Very, but the funny thing was when they had them there, the crickets were quiet. They were not making any noise. They had all the crickets alive, showing them how they eat the plants and stuff, and that's all required. Very easy to,
because they knew what was going to happen to them.
Exactly what we said. They're not very cheerful crickets right now. Because
would you be cheerful if you knew that some cannibal civilization was going to cook you in a stew?
Yeah.
Gee, why is this water so hot? And it's getting hotter.
Yeah, right. So so cricket flour. Look for that. Look for it in your grocery store with all the rest of the flowers. You'd be surprised if we see.
I think it's under exotic foods.
Yeah, and they also sell cookbooks.
Delicacies.
Oh, excuse my burping, but that's one hell of a delicacy. But we did have a delicacy today. Mark and I had a sugar-free cheesecake.
And I dare anybody to taste it and tell me that it tastes any different from a regular cheesecake. That's how good it was.
It's delicious. I'm going to advertise this. Mr. Bill's in Lindenhurst, New York. They make a delicious sugar-free, as well as regular cheesecakes.
And they make cannolis.
They make cannolis and rugelach, also sugar-free.
Well, not the cannolis, the rugelach, right?
Rugelach and the cannolis are sugar-free. I didn't buy any.
Sugar-free cannoli?
Yeah.
Never had one of those. The rugelach were very good.
Yeah, did you ever
Felix
have
had me over a couple of days ago. Saturday, when we did that mystery 30-minute show that did better than Friday's show.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Well, I did figure people who were going to listen to Friday's show all of a sudden saw this show, so they pressed that because it's the last show they see. Not even realizing there was another one that they missed on Friday, probably.
Yeah, I think people are trying to tell us something. All we're good for is really 30 minutes. Anything after that, and it's a real bummer.
Well, I was looking at a lot of the other shows, and most of them don't go over an hour. Unless they're really...
Well, the crazy old man, he varies. Sometimes he can go for 5 hours, and then he can go for 30 minutes.
But he doesn't do anything. All he does is just plays the pre-recorded stuff.
Does he have commercials?
I don't know, but
because he's got to pay for that.
No, he doesn't have any commercials.
He's got to pay for that.
He doesn't have commercials. Not on Spreaker. Spreaker, you can broadcast, depending on what... You could broadcast it with our show, 3 hours, stop for 5 minutes, go another 3 hours, the next show, 3 hours. As long as you pause, or you could actually
That would work out great for us, because 3 hours, that's about how long we go in between going to the bathroom.
Yeah. And also they have...
Why are you not even listening to me?
Because that is...
Crude?
That is crude.
Now that's crude. Your whoopee cushion?
No, I take myself being crude.
Hey.
Now that is crude.
All right, folks.
Wait a second.
I've
you know
had
what I had for lunch today? For dinner, I should say?
You had chicken?
I had chicken. I taped it first, and then we ate it later.
You know what the chicken's asking you? You sure you don't want a good steak?
And guess what? It's opening day at Yankee Stadium.
That's right.
Get your hot coffee here. Get your hot coffee.
They got multiple, which puts them in first place.
got a hit. And they were interviewing it, and he said it's like the first hit he's had for the first game opener in Yankee Stadium, and also the last time he's going to get to bat and get a hit
in an opening game.
Yep. This is it for him this year. I don't see him ever changing his mind.
No, why should he? He's had a wonderful career. He's a definite first-round Hall of Famer. You figure this is 2014. Okay, so in 5 years, by 2019, he'll be eligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame. His statistics speak for themselves. He's been a great ambassador for baseball. You never remember reading anything bad about him. He literally bleeds Yankee blue. And today you had Mariano Rivera and Andy Pettitte and Jorge Posada, and along with Derek Jeter, they were the core four from 1995, 96.
Well, we managed.
We'll never see that again, I don't think.
Yeah. But, listen, you never see the same thing again, obviously, because there's never going to be the same players, but there will always be...
No, I know you don't have the same players, but I don't think we'll see a chemistry like that again. Where you have 4 star players staying with a team for so long. Mm-hmm. Although Andy Pettitte did leave for about 3 years, he went back to Houston. He lived in Houston. He went to play for the Texas Rangers. No. He played for the Houston Astros. My bad. Because he lived in Houston, and his son was pitching in high school at the time.
Yeah.
So he got to see his son's games.
All right. Well, we somehow managed to stretch this show out more and more than we expected, Mark. And
yeah, I think it's about a half hour too long, but I'm about ready to say goodnight. Here come the dogs. I'm surprised they didn't come in earlier. It's really raining hard here. Now, I'll bring them in and feed them, but you got to wipe them down.
You got it. It is pouring out there today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for listening to our show.
Hope that you're listening on Friday. Have a good evening.
Thank you and good night.